In the middle of the night, the three bastards hit the man on the back with sticks. They not only robbed him of money, but also beat him very hard. The accompanying fine hair is carried. Baggage is also held on the person. He also lost his memory. An interesting adventure story begins here. After getting up, he went to the station toilet. The security guard on duty followed him. He was found lying in the toilet. The man was taken to the hospital, but soon he lost his heartbeat. The doctor declared the patient dead. When everyone left here, he suddenly sat down. The crooked nasal bridge is swollen. The next day, he appeared on the beach. A homeless person stole his shoes. Two boys saw him. They immediately told their mother. The man was saved by his family. The family is not very rich. The hostess still cooks a handful of rice for him. Feed him spoon by spoon. This annoyed the two kids. The family lives in a container and leads a hard life. Only the husband is on duty at the nearby factory. In the evening, the hostess changed the gauze for him. The man finally spoke, but what happened to him last night made him unable to remember anything. Her husband came home from work the next day. Two children immediately put down poker cards. Then immediately bring a bucket of hot water for the father to bathe. He put on a suit, then invited the man out to eat. And the so-called eating out is just a Friday activity from the welfare agency. A woman notices a handsome man. The two fall in love at first sight. After eating, they went to the bar and ordered 2 beers. He wanted to have a good drink without telling his wife. During the chat, he discovered that the man's hands looked like they had been doing manual labor. Obviously he's not a reader. He drank 8 glasses of beer during this meal. It made him drunk. On the way home, he took a stick and beat him. Luckily the man managed to dodge. He was going to use the punch to bring back the man's memory. He decided to rent the used container to the man. The rent is 100 yuan per week. He also said harsh words. If you don't pay on time, I will arrange for the dog to eat you. The man has his footing by the sea. He cleaned the place, and an electrician did the electricity for him. They also took 3 single beds from outside. The refrigerator also has a gramophone. This man without a past lives here. He got a truckload of shit. Potatoes are planted on it. It's Friday again. He returned the plate. There is a little salt in the takao soup. The lady gave him a business card. Ask him to go to the welfare agency to get new clothes. You may not imagine it. In this place, containers are considered as luxury homes. Others can only live in the trash. The man asks about the location of the job service station. He wants to find a job here, but he had trouble signing it. He couldn't remember his name at all. The leader immediately chased him away. He came to the restaurant and got a free cup of hot water. Took out the tea bag that had been brewed many times, and put it in the cup. The owner saw this scene. So she brings him food. She said that this is leftover lunch. She also asked, do you want milk? There are good people everywhere. The down-and-out man gets a new suit. Emma finds out about the man's situation. So find a leader and look forward to helping her for him. In this way, the man found work. In the evening, the sheriff comes to collect the rent. Take the so-called hunting dogs. But the guy just found a job. The sheriff immediately released the chain and allowed the dog to bite the man. But that was clearly a pet dog. The man promised to pay on time from next week. The sheriff immediately lifted him from the bed, threatening him to take care of it. He will be gone for a week. So he left the dog here for him to take care of. If you don't pay when I get back, you will die.
Hannibal.
Even though he is a man, he cannot get the same salary treatment. But after a few days of work, he earned 800 yuan. At night, he waited for Emma to come home from work. He said he was afraid of the dark. So he wished she could give him a lift. Even though I lost my memory. But the power of this talisman did not decrease in the slightest. In Spoken, the two came to Emma's residence.
Aro.
Mitä?
Sinulla on roska silmässä.
En tunne mitään.
Se on vasta menossa. Aina kun katson.
Varastit suudelman.
Olen pahoillani. En ole herrasmies.
Emma, who never wears makeup, tries to wear mascara. When the sheriff returned, the man paid the month's rent as promised. He wants to borrow his car to use, But the sheriff is only minding his business. That's how Hannibal opens. The man has prepared food. But in the end, the burnt peanuts fried on the steak became a bit of a problem. Both of them sat on the sofa. With the help of music, they establish a relationship. Watching the potatoes grow, the man feels that life is getting more interesting. He wants to get a band of welfare agents into his container. I wish they could learn modern rock music. He even begged the boss to accept a change of band. And those forward-thinking executives not only agree, they lead band practice. It's Friday again. Under the singing of the band, other people who had suffered so much in life started to dance. In the afternoon, some of the boys in the band continued to play under the boys' organization. The sheriff saw the man who had just arrived and was about to ask him for money. Little did he know, however, that this was a show he was hosting. After working half a day, the man saw a light from welding on the opposite side. He unconsciously walked towards him and said to him, "I can try too." They didn't expect that the fish scale pattern could be welded quite neatly. That's how he was hired by the company. A bank account is required to get this salary. The man comes to the bank. Under the supervisor's guidance, he will open a digital account. He came to the counter to open an account. A strong man with a gun pushed him aside. He wants to withdraw frozen money in the account. Broken surveillance camera. The teller calmly took it to the vault and took out the frozen $240,000. The strong man got the money himself, then locked them both in the vault. Teller who is good at solving fire protection equipment. The strong man made a good statement and left here. But the man was arrested by the police because he did not know his name. Fortunately, he has watched a lot of movies. He knew he could still call. Emma finds out about the man's situation, so she hires a lawyer for him. Under the terms of the law and the lawyer's scolding, they had to let him go. But the man's photo was posted by the police. The man comes to the bar to drink. The strong man from before went to find him. He was sorry for what happened earlier, and recounts his tragic experience. Han is the boss of Earth House Technique. But after he bought 2 new machines, the bank withdrew the loan citing dishonesty. The machines were sold to banks at low prices, but the bank sold it at 3 times the price. His bank account was also frozen. Workers were laid off by him regardless of their wages. So he had no choice but to rob a bank to get his own money back, only to pay those people's wages. With tears in his eyes, he wished the man could help him. The two came to the strong man's residence. He has already divided the money. Each one is written clearly. He gave the man a gift. I hope he can express his apologies to those who have owed wages. The strong man knew the consequences. After the man left, he killed himself. The man can take his own money, but he kept his word and sent every penny. That day, the police met the man. They received a call from the man's wife. Turns out his name is Jack. He is a welder at the factory. But what baffled the police was, she knew that Jack was missing. But she never called the police. Jack was deep in thought. It was Emma who rushed to give the man her first love. Upon learning about Jack's situation, Emma graciously sends him to the station. In this way, Jack got in the car to go home. Arriving at home, the wife looks very cold. It turned out that Jack was a man who was addicted to gambling. He lost all his family's savings. The two of them are also always fighting. They have been divorced for a long time. Ex-wife's current boyfriend wants to fight him, but after seeing the current situation, Jack knew it was best for him to leave. He returned to the broken community. He happened to meet the 3 gangsters who beat him up. Seeing that he was still alive, they decided to kill him one more time. But this time, Jack took the wood. The gangster's face changed drastically. The people stood up and rushed towards the gangsters, who had mistreated society for so long. The sheriff finally appears. Jack comes to the free club and takes the girl of his. So far, it's all over. You may have noticed, though, that these down-and-out people wear suits. They are very aware that one person's appearance can make a deep impression on others. Neat dress. At the very least, it wouldn't allow these people to be discriminated against because of their appearance, and make them self-defeat even more. And these poor people have one thing in common. They always live with today, and there is no tomorrow. They also never progressed. People in the same community were severely beaten. Humanoids are also indifferent. They cannot be mobilized until a leader emerges. In fact, it was the man who started over. The man who used to gamble completely disappeared in the past. The director expresses it in a frustrating way. No matter how unbearable you were before, but as long as you are willing to face life positively, You can start over. Starting over is like plowing. When you start from scratch and see your own results later, you will definitely feel relieved. No amount of commentary can replace the original film. A good film and worth watching in full. See you again.